Hi, this is Robert Clickybeard and David Anderson with the Commercial Landscaper podcast. We're going to take 20 minutes of your life to deliver some amazing business content from accomplished leaders to bring you value, to scale your business, and to better yourself personally. And really hopefully you enjoyed. Cheers, everyone. Hi, this is Robert Clickybeard with the Commercial Landscapers podcast. I'm really excited today to be joined by Katie Elzer-Peters. Welcome, Katie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on today. So, for my audience all around the world, why am I talking to you today? What's your background? Tell me a little bit about you.
Well, I run a marketing agency for the green industry, the Garden of Words, LLC, and I am pretty excited about talking to people about ways to kind of streamline their business and use technology and take all these tools that I didn't know about 15 years ago and incorporate them into their businesses. And so when I saw your podcast and what you're doing and your other guests that you've had on, I was like, well, I feel like maybe I could help the people some. And my background is plants. I am a horticulturist. I went to Purdue for my bachelor's. I went to the University of Delaware and the Longwood Graduate Program for my master's. And so I did used to grow plants all the time. And then I have kind of transitioned into more of a supportive role, and I just enjoy sharing the things that I've learned and in hopes that it helps people's businesses be better. So
that's awesome. Now, when you left college, I mean, what was your path there? Did you go and work for a nursery? Did you go and do design work?
I actually managed botanical gardens.
Oh, cool.
So my history in college and through internships, and then the Longwood program was very much in public horticulture. So worked at the Smithsonian and the Marie Selby Botanic Gardens and a garden where I live now in Wilmington, all over the place. So yeah, no, I was managing public gardens really different.
That's awesome. That's great work. And I mean, I've obviously used to back in the UK some beautiful botanic gardens over there. So I can definitely appreciate your background there, and it's just such a nice place to go and visit. So well, and what from there, why did you sort of decide to get more into the marketing and be able to help other people and their knowledge?
Yeah, so I left the Botanic Garden here in Wilmington in 2007, December, about a month before the housing crash. And I had just bought a house. So I had left that job and I was like, okay, what am I going to do now? And when I worked at Botanic Gardens, I was always chronically understaffed and busy. And so I thought, well, I'll go be an extra pair of hands for people. And the reason that I gravitated towards marketing, I think, is that one of my big focuses, both in school and then afterwards when I was working, was fund development and fundraising. And fundraising and marketing are very similar to each other. You have to get buy-in and work with constituents and all that sort of thing. So, and I had a writing background as well. So it was just kind of a natural fit to mush all those things together.
That's great. And how, when you first left compared to here you are a number of years later, how have things evolved? And, obviously we've gone through a ton of challenges with COVID and everything else, but how have you seen you're helping others versus their needs come together over the last few years?
That's a good question. And it's actually part of the reason why when I left, I thought I would do this more for public gardens. I ended up working more on the industry side of things with landscapers, designers, nurseries, that sort of thing. And a big difference is that when I started doing it, nobody hired outside contractors. They just had no idea what to do or that was even available. And so from my side, the opportunities have opened up for somebody like me, but the opportunities have really opened up for businesses because it's sort of this, it's this like synergistic effect or an effect that builds upon itself that when more people use contractors, then more people do contracting, which opens up the pool of talent. So I think as more places have used outside help for specialties, and as technology has allowed us to even do this, like work remotely face to face with good tools at our disposal, that means that there are more people that are willing to go into that type of work. And so that's the big thing. I just think the opportunities for everyone have opened up to share their talents with businesses, and for businesses to really capitalize on the talent of people that aren't in their own backyard. And that's so cool. I mean, I love that.
Yep. No, I mean, so true. I mean, I agree 100%. I think before there was that mindset around if you needed some type of expertise, you would typically have to, hire somebody on your team full time. And yeah, there obviously has been consultants around for years, but the fact that there's now fractional options for marketing, for CFOs, for coaches, for all these different expertise, and a lot of them are now willing to work from home, it becomes less expensive for companies to be able to have that option. And also you're not necessarily dealing with some of the trials and tribulations of hiring full-time employees. So I think those options now are tremendous.
They are, and you can get, because I like that fractional option. It makes me think of yes, when I get my fractional jet, but anyways, yeah, it lets you get the most qualified people for the work instead of hiring someone that might be a generalist. And obviously for a lot of businesses, especially in our industry, your whole staff can't be remote. But when it comes to something like marketing or web development or the technology pieces, you can pull in an expert for a lot less money because you don't have to own all of their time, and because you can look out on the free market, and you can usually get somebody that is tremendously more qualified than maybe there might be around the corner from you, and especially if you're out in a more rural area. So I think that's a great opportunity.
No, for sure. Now, one of the things you just touched on there, and we also talked about it offline, is the technology piece, because again, it's really easy to get into the landscape industry, but it's obviously more challenging once you're in the industry. You typically know your trade, whether it be plants or landscaping or whatever, but they don't necessarily have either that business knowledge, they don't necessarily have that software knowledge, numbers knowledge. So there's a lot of challenges there. But I know you've had some great knowledge and experience around the technology piece, especially when it comes to perhaps making the business more efficient. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it's so funny because all the time I say to people, oh man, I used to grow plants, but now I kind of grow businesses. So that's fun. I'm still growing, but and I fell into that. I really have developed sort of a niche where I work a lot with technology, and I'm trying to talk to people a lot now. And that happened to me kind of by accident, also by necessity. I started, working with different businesses, and I'm very process and systems oriented. And so I saw a need for processes, and there's a lot of technology that can help with that. And then I saw a need for just kind of like decoding this world we found ourselves in. And so in order to be able to accomplish the client's goals, whether it was that they needed some website copy to do this, or they needed some email marketing to do that, in addition to doing the deliverable, the marketing, I also needed to be able to help them translate technology speak and work within the technology. And so that's how I started doing it, and then just have continued to do it and help businesses. And Get some streamlining tips in a minute, but continued to do that because, well, to back out, to get back in our jet up there in the 30,000 feet view, you've probably heard of the first space, or first place is home, the second place is work, the third place is Starbucks, like the place we go when we're not at work or home. Well, there really is kind of this fourth space or fourth place, which is the internet and online, and it's not going away. And we all have to figure out how to work in it. And yet it's also really stressful because all of a sudden I think everybody thinks, oh, well, I have to be an expert in web development. And there's just all of this new way of working was thrust upon us. And we don't have a choice but to figure out how to work and live in it. And so I was really at some point just made the decision that, well, I have the hort knowledge, I have the business knowledge, I'm going to help with the tech knowledge to help bridge some of that gap, because it's just not going away. So whether I wanted to or not, in order to achieve the other goals the businesses had, I had to be able to help them deal with the tech. And so, and because we're all still chronically understaffed,
that's so true.
to use tech to streamline. And so that's why I've gone more in that direction.
No, that makes sense, because, I think, as you know, the last 2 years, I think that acceleration of technology has probably gone tenfold with people getting into, working remotely, whatever. So a lot of people are either still trying to grasp with it, or perhaps they're getting so much data, they just don't know what to do with it. So it's definitely a daily struggle, even just simple things like checking whatever social media in your phone. Mm-hmm. So I think it's definitely a big challenge for people. So how do you even start that type of process if you were feeling overwhelmed before COVID, and now here we are 2 weeks later? I mean, how do you try and even grasp that? Because I talk to people about, well, I want to do job costing, but can you recommend any CRM systems? And they're totally, obviously, different systems.
Mm-hmm. So, but I can talk about that. That's a good example. I'm doing that right now.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, so I mean, the place that I encourage everybody to start is. And then it's kind of been backed up. I was reading the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. I don't know if you've read that.
Great book. Yeah.
Yeah. He talks about starting with just something you can do for 2 minutes. Like, he tells this story about a man that just put on his clothes, went to the gym every day, and then drove home. And he just did that for a month because he could be the kind of person that went to the gym every day and just worked on top of it. So we're actually working on job costing. And that is a technological problem, actually, because you need to be able to track time. And so what we're doing and starting with is we migrated our time tracking from a manual system over to T-Sheets with QuickBooks, and T-Sheets integrates with QuickBooks, which I use for my bookkeeping. And where we're starting is we are just tracking our time. So it's like, where's the first point of entry? Like, what is the first thing that you need to start doing if you want to adopt a new technology or a new system? Is just, what is your entry point? And if you can't figure out what your entry point is, well, then yes, talk to somebody that is an expert. And a lot of people will just talk to you for a few minutes and be like, oh, well, I would do that. And that's it. Like, that'll get you started. If you need more help, then talk with people that are experts in setting up the kind of systems that you want. But you don't have to go. The thing that I always try to get across to people, no matter what it is that I'm talking about, is there is a small step you can take first. So like, if you're overwhelmed, social media is something I feel like people are overwhelmed. Do you think that'd be helpful to talk about a step to streamlining that?
Sure, absolutely.
So we're all of us in business today have to have pretty much like a LinkedIn page and an Instagram and a Facebook, like at the bare minimum. And so if you're already overwhelmed with everything else you're doing, and then the other thing is, as more social media platforms come on, people wonder, oh my gosh, do I need to be on this? Do I need to be on this? Do I need to be on this? First of all, I'm going to say no, you don't have to be everywhere.
You mean like TikTok? You mean like
TikTok, Snapchat.
Yeah.
Like, what are all the other, what the youths are doing, what the kids are doing? That's what, so first of all, choose. that's the first step. Choose, like, look at where people, your customers are interacting and make a choice. Like, get rid of all the noise. And that's kind of like what we did with the T-sheets is like, what is the first thing? Well, the first thing is we need to decide where we're going to do this and just start doing that. So choose your social media platform or platforms that you're going to use. And then what I like to do is to make a very simple plan, and you can do this on paper, or you can do it on the computer to pick out, the high points of things that you want to talk about in January and February and March and April. It can just be 4 or 5 bullet points. And then sit down. So start with that, and then start batch producing your content. So one way to make it easier to do this sort of thing is to use a really nifty tool that allows you to bang it all out really fast. So we use Canva a lot. Other people probably talk about Canva. What's great about Canva is that you can create a Facebook post, and they have templates, drag and drop. It's really easy. So you create your post, and then if you're like, well, I like that, I like the way the words I put on it looked, well, you can copy it, swap the picture out, change the text. You can make templates. So that's the next step, is that I will make some templates, and one for graphics. Maybe I'll make my email template, and I'll know every time I send an email, I'm going to talk about what to do with your grass this month, what promos we have coming up, and what you might need to call us about to schedule, like mulching or something. And just know every time I'm going to do that. So it's like, first you made your little bullet point list, then you start making your templates. Then you can start making copies of those templates and naming them for your months, January, February, March, and start putting stuff in. So you don't sit down every week at a blank screen and say, ah!
Yeah, that's good. I assume what's going to help there, again, with I suppose your following, is the consistency.
Yes.
Consistency of branding, same type of lettering. I mean, I've heard that. I know a little bit to be dangerous.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So then you can just show up, because that's what I think people, also with technology, everyone's like, oh, I got to go big or go home. And it's like, no, you can just go. Like, just go and keep going. If you decide I'm going to do 1 post a week, do 1 post a week, and just do it. If you're going to do 1 email a week, just do one. Like Seth Godin always talks about how he blogs every day. That's just a rule. I blog every day. I'm not saying you guys need to blog every day, but he doesn't have to wake up and think about whether he's going to blog every day. He knows that he does that. So decide what you're going to do and just do it. Even if you only can send out, this is a nice picture, and we're going to talk about, feed the lawn this week. And this is why, or don't feed the lawn because we haven't had rain for a month, whatever it is, just know what you're going to do. And then there are some tools to help implement social as well that I love. Like, there are lots of scheduling tools that I don't know that people know about.
Like
and those help.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Yeah, so I really love the scheduling tool called later.com.
Okay.
And Later, have you heard of that?
I haven't. No, I haven't.
Oh, it's awesome. So they also have the link in bio feature that's associated with them. So if you're a company that does blogs or YouTube or produces any other content, link in bio is really helpful with Later. And what's neat about Later, and a lot of the schedulers are like this. I mean, they all have sort of similar features, but you can upload a bunch of pictures into the media library. So they're just sitting there. So that, again, you're not sitting in front of your computer like, oh, I don't know what I want to talk about. You can have already uploaded them. They also, a lot of them have apps like for your phone. So if you take a good picture and you're like, wait, I know I'm going to use that for marketing, you can just upload it right away. And then they all pretty much have drag and drop features where when you're ready to sit down and make some posts, you can drag it to the day that you want to put it on. I'll open a little window. You can type in a caption. You can save your hashtags. That's another time saving, streamlining tip, so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. You can save groups of hashtags because you don't want to have the exact same ones every time, and then schedule it, and then it'll go out. And if you can sit down and do a week or two or a month, or even, like I said, if you want to make sure you just have 2 social media posts up a week, just do those for the next 3 months so they're done. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's nice. Take some of the pressure off. Yeah, take some of the pressure off.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. Any other technology tips? We have probably a couple minutes left here, but what other technology do you see just help streamline? Sorry, to go back to a point first. When you talked about doing one thing with the technology, and people say, "Well, what do I focus on?" I mean, the example you gave of job costing and tracking labor is such a huge one, because that's typically the biggest cost in any type of landscape operation. So just to be able to track that and compare that against how you did your estimates is huge in itself. A lot of people don't understand that. So I think that's great. But any other recommendations on the technology side? Or
well, this is interesting because it's a very analog tip to use with your technology. But if let's say you have a different system for, like, maybe you have an app or something for time tracking for your people in the field, and then you have QuickBooks or something, and maybe it integrates or maybe it doesn't, and then you might have a file somewhere. Something that's helped me tremendously with technology and has helped other clients is we use naming conventions. So each one of our clients that we work with has a short code name, and it might be their last name, or it might be something to do with their business. Like, we work for Little Prince of Oregon, and their short name is LPN, Little Prince Nursery. And so everything across, I am so sorry.
No, it's all good.
Are you able to splice and dice?
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay. I don't know. I have this old dog, and hold on 1 second.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm so sorry. I was
No.
should be fine.
No worries.
She's kind of old and sick, so it's
an easy fix.
Okay, so do you want me to start back with the short name?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that we've used to help us a lot with technology, which is kind of an analog solution to apply across technology platforms, is to make sure that if you have different clients, like different places, different landscape clients, if you're doing routine maintenance, and you're going to track what you're doing for them across the system, this works to help with job costing, actually. You make sure that every client has a naming convention. So maybe every client is going to be the first initial and the last name, because if there's a lot of Smiths or something, and then every record across your whole system, whether it's your people in the field that are tracking time, or it's someone in billing, every document, every record, every time entry has a little tag or part of the name that is that naming convention. So you can easily find and get all of the data together. If you're using a bunch of different platforms and everything is named differently, it becomes a giant mess. And then it's not helpful. Then it doesn't help you streamline. So that's my kind of old school tip, that as you're adding all the technology, to keep it all straight.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a great little tip. So thank you for that.
Oh, yeah.
So if people are interested in trying to get hold of you, getting some more ideas from you, whether it be marketing, whether it be technology tips, what's the best way for them to find you?
Basically, go to our website. It's www.thegardenofwords.com. So it's words plural, and there's a "the" in front of it. And we have our Instagram feed there. We have a lot of blog posts there. You can sign up for our newsletter. My newsletter is kind of fun and wacky. People either love it or hate it, but I always give tech tips in it. And so there's always some helpful, handy links and people like that. And you can also send me an email or schedule a discovery call from the website. There's a little on the sidebar, there's some links you can click. And I love to talk to people, even if it's 5 minutes here or there, or a quick email. If you got a quick question, send it over. I'd love to save you from hours of angst if I can.
Yep, that's always a good time. Well, thank you, Katie. Really appreciate your time today. Thanks for your tips. Thanks for your wisdom. I really appreciate your time today. So thank you very much, Katie. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. Hopefully that was pure dead brilliant for you today, and you got some great takeaways for your business or for your personal life. This is Robert Clinkenbeard along with David Edmondson. I would love to get you and your friends to join us on your journey. If you have any ideas for future speakers, or if you just want to pass this on to friends, family, other business colleagues to sign up and subscribe, that would be awesome. Anyway, thanks everyone, and have a great 2022. Cheers.